Welcome to the official Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society's podcast. I'm your host, Barnaby, and you're listening to Whispers from the Dark. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Whispers from the Dark. I'm your host, Barnaby, and today's show was recorded at the Van Meter Visitor Festival in Van Meter, Iowa. It is almost Halloween, boys and girls, so we are going to take you on a cross-country road trip of paranormal and weird. And to do that, our first guest on the show is the creator and cartographer of the Map in Black. He is also the founder of a brand new convention that is the Frogman Convention, and he's going to tell you all about that convention as well. And then, if you're still not satisfied with the creepy locations that you can head to, our second guest on the show is from Creepy Acres. And this may not be a place you can actually go. We'll leave that up to them. But it is a YouTube series that you can go and watch, and I highly recommend it, because these guys are absolutely a bundle of fun. After sitting across from them for an entire day at this event, you definitely got to go check out their videos. So without any further ado, please enjoy Jeff Craig, the cartographer of the Map in Black and Creepy Acres. All right, so if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Jeff Craig. I am a cartographer from Ohio. I make maps. I do maps for a living with the regional utility company. And for fun, I make maps of paranormal things. I pinpoint haunted spots, cryptids, UFOs, anything unusual.
Very cool. Yeah, I was telling you earlier, I just picked up your map. It's a whole United States. It's called the
Map in Black.
Map in Black.
Yeah, kind of a take on Men in Black,
Nice.
or Map in Black. And the background is black, like the ocean. I was actually going to make the land black, and it just didn't come across well in readability.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to reverse it up and make the background, the water, the Great Lakes, the Atlantic and Pacific, and everything black. So that worked. But so it's kind of got a dual meaning. Men in Black kind of investigate paranormal stuff. So Map in Black illustrates the paranormal things around the country.
Yeah, I saw it at another convention. I didn't actually get it from you, but now I know who made it. That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really neat to see, like, you have all kinds of, like you said, the paranormal, the cryptids, the different historical events all mapped out on there. Mm-hmm. And it's really neat to see, like, how they all fit together.
It is, and that's one reason I actually started making the map. I first mapped Ohio in a very detailed fashion, a huge 38 by 50 map of Ohio, and that came out in 2007. It's called Hidden Ohio Map and Guide, and just taking my background in cartography and geography, and after watching the Mothman Prophecies movie, it really piqued my interest on what other stuff is going on out there. I'd never heard that story before. It was before I was born, and I grew up in the Chicago area. I came to Cincinnati, watched the movie, and realized it was just a couple hours away from where I was living at the time. So we drove down to Point Pleasant, I think, the next weekend to start investigating. Well, not investigating, but just looking at things to see what that area was like. And it piqued my interest in making maps anyways. I'm like, I got to find out what else is going on. And I'm like, let me just start pinpointing this for fun. And then I realized maybe other people would like this stuff. So I started in the mindset of trying to put something together that would be interesting for people to see themselves. And in order to help pay for the printing and make it worthwhile, I sold some ads on the map I thought what people would be sponsoring it that would benefit them as well. So that's how it all started. And then I started getting requests for other states, and I pondered what state I would do next. And instead of just picking another state to map in great detail, I decided to map the whole country. And that's when Map in Black...
Why start small?
Yeah, go big or go home, right? The Map in Black took me 9 years to research. Lots of starts and stops. along the way, but I persevered. I pushed through, continued to research stuff. And, there's over 1,000 haunted spots. There are cryptid sightings like the Van Meter Visitor where we are here today. Obviously Mothman, Bigfoot all around the country, Lake Erie monsters, Lake Champlain, what's his name? The Champ, yep. Mm-hmm. Lots of water monsters that I didn't know about. So I just learned so much doing it. It was so much fun. And it was really a labor of love. I mean, I was kind of just inspired to do it. I couldn't explain why, but I was just driven to do it.
It's absolute amazing project. Like I haven't gotten the ability to lay my map all the way out yet because I don't have a lot of room. But and I've been super busy since I got it. I told you I got it like 2 weeks ago. But
right.
There's so much on there. So my next question then is when you're mapping this out, have you noticed any kind of patterns of like where cryptids are most seen, like any kind of like reasoning behind it or anything like that?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I got off track on the last question you asked, but that was one reason why I made Hidden Ohio, is to see if there were patterns to hauntings or Bigfoot sightings or UFOs, and I just came to the conclusion that I'm not getting everything on the map that's out there. I'm not getting every Bigfoot sighting. I'm not getting every UFO sighting. There are haunted places that are not on the map because it's a private residence or whatever, so I'm not putting all the data on the map to be able to accurately really analyze the data. So I had to just finally stop and say, this isn't going to be a map for scientific observations. It's just going to be a useful map, fun map for people that want to do paranormal road trips. Are there patterns? Probably. On Map in Black, I tried to put every government/military installation on there because there are correlations to UFO sightings around military installations, whether people are seeing the what we're testing or just regular airplanes, misidentification, or if there's some correlation. So I have Area 51, I have all of these Air Force bases, I have all of the national the Coast Guard and the naval bases all along the East Coast and airfields and, Wright Pat Air Force Base and just all that stuff, so you can try to maybe help analyze it yourself. So I'm going to let the people do the analyzing maybe and help come up with some patterns. Obviously, where there are people, there are things happening. We need eyes to see them. So when you get out to the Great Plains, there are not as many people, so therefore there are not as many, hauntings, stuff like that. So there's those obvious things that come up. There are some states that I really found to be more unusually weird. I mean, I think we all agree that West Virginia has a lot of cryptids.
Yeah.
The Eastern Seaboard has a lot of hauntings. There are older cities, Savannah, Charleston, go up to the Eastern Seaboard, Philadelphia, up to New England. Those are older places. They've been around longer. They have some really cool stories. But that's not to say that these newer cities that newer compared to the East Coast don't have stuff. Every city, every little town has something going on if you dig deep enough.
So all these places, all over the United States and stuff, what is some of your favorite ones that you discovered or dug deeper into? Besides, you already talked about Point Pleasant and stuff, but
sure, yeah. I mean, Point Pleasant was definitely a big spot. I know Ohio the best, obviously being there and pinpointing over 300 haunted spots on my Hidden Ohio map. I love Moonville Tunnel. If you're ever in Ohio, I would suggest a detour down to Moonville Tunnel, which is a haunted tunnel that used to be a railroad tunnel, and the railroad is gone, but the ghosts still are there. Mostly a guy that got decapitated, unfortunately, in a train accident, and he is still said to be wandering around with a lantern that he carries looking for his head.
Thank you very much. Cool. So, speaking of Ohio, where you're from, you have an event coming up. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, my local cryptid, I guess if I had to say that, being in Cincinnati, is the Loveland Frogman. And those into cryptozoology probably have heard of the Frogman. Frogman has been seen only a handful of times. Honestly, it's not as prolific as Bigfoot, but the sightings that have happened have been very intriguing. In the 50s, a businessman saw what maybe was a frog, or some people think maybe it was more like an alien, and it had a wand, and it emitted some sort of energy out, like maybe a weapon. In the early 70s, 2 police officers saw this frogman creature, which is really where it started to pick up tracks, no pun intended, and they shot at it. So there are those 2 stories. Some kids saw it playing Pokemon Go maybe a decade or so ago. Those are the big stories. There's nothing that's an ongoing, regular kind of occurrence. It's just been sporadic. But those sightings really have captured people's imagination. So we're going to celebrate the legend of Frogman. We're not trying to prove that this entity exists. We'll leave that up to the participants, the viewers, whoever. But it's fun to celebrate these legends that we have, and everyone really enjoys Frogman. So we're going to come together on March 4th, 2023 at the Great Wolf Lodge Conference Center next to Kings Island in Mason, Ohio. We're 2,000 feet from the Little Miami River where this frog creature is seen. And on Saturday, we'll get together with vendors, and I've got speakers lined up. And we will spend the day talking and celebrating the Frogman.
That sounds awesome. How much are vendor spaces? How much? Where can we get information and stuff?
Vendor spaces are $75 for the space. Bring your own table, or you can rent them from us for $25. And we're going to charge a small admittance to participants to come in for the day, so they can see the speakers, and it helps us provide that opportunity to have speakers. We don't have the exact price down yet. We're still finalizing those details, but it'll be $5 to $10 to get in. And so vendors, we've got about 40 spaces we're offering, and so get in now. This will be the first one ever, and we hope to do it again, assuming that it's popular and well represented event.
Cool. Do you, off the top of your head, do you have who's all going to be speaking, or promote it? Go ahead.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm so excited to have these different people here. We've got a great range of people, many of who are in Ohio. One of my longtime friends, Jim Willis, is going to be there. He is an author and paranormal researcher. Jim wrote a book called Weird Ohio. I'm sure many of you are familiar with like Weird New Jersey and Weird USA, and the big, thick black books that came out maybe 10, 15 years ago. So Jim wrote the Weird Ohio version along with Lauren Coleman and Andrew Henderson. But Jim has studied the Frogman story for years, and he knows the ins and outs of all the different stories. So he's going to give a talk. I think it'll be the pinnacle of the day when Jim comes on to talk and just go through the evolution of the Frogman story and give a lot of the details for that. I've got Dee Elliott, and Dee graduated from Bowling Green with a degree in, I believe it's folklore. And so they are now working for the West Virginia History Center, I believe, and they're going to talk about towns and the legends that haunt them. So that'll be interesting. I've got Ashley Hilt, who's a Fortean investigator, and Ashley, or as you may know her, Ashers, has a podcast and talks about everything in the paranormal world. Heather Mosier will be here talking about folklore and things that go on, not just in Ohio, but all across the country. And she'll talk about the importance of storytelling and passing things on, more of an oral tradition. You may know Heather from her appearances in Small Town Monsters films. I've got a couple other people. Erin Shaw is a park ranger in Ohio, and she'll be talking about the flora and fauna of the Little Miami River, where the Frogman is seen. It'll be more scientific. Dr. John Stamey will be there. He is also co-organizing the event with me, and his specialty is the lizard man of South Carolina. I've also got Tobias Wayland, and from Wisconsin, who is also a forwarding investigator, and potentially another one or two speakers that we are just finalizing the details for. So stay tuned.
Very cool. And we'll promote that as it gets closer as well.
Excellent.
Hopefully we can come out and check it out. So where can people find out more about your Frogman Festival?
We'll have details at Map in Black is my Instagram, so follow Map in Black on Instagram. And I've created a Facebook event, so if you search for Frogman Festival on Facebook, you should find the event where we will post most of the details. There will be a website. My co-organizer, John, is still finalizing the details for that, so I won't give out the the domain for that or anything yet until we really have some good info for people. But Facebook, and follow me on Map in Black on Instagram to get all the details.
Sounds good. We'll have that in the show notes for this episode as well for you guys to follow along, or you can go to Wisconsin Caps at facebook.com and find that. We'll make sure we get the links and everything out for you as well.
Great.
Where can people get your map?
My map actually sold out, and I'm actually got a new printing that just finished up. So if they go to mapinblack.com, they can actually pre-order, and the new one will be going out this week. If you pre-order, you get a discounted price, and you get a bunch of swag from my friends who made some stickers for me and some other stuff that I'll be including. I'm going to put some MetaZoo cards in there for people at random, just as a thank you for pre-ordering. The maps are actually arriving this week. There's been a delay because of paper shortages and supply chain. It's been a nightmare, but the first run of the maps sold out in under a year. They've been at Half Price Books is one of the great locations for people that have that near them. And if you don't find it nearby, ask your local bookstore. I love supporting local businesses, whether it's a bookstore, a gift shop. Ask them to reach out to me, and I would love to send them a supply to sell. Work with local independent stores to help them out.
Cool. Are you still adding to the map, like newer things you find and stuff like that?
Always adding to the map. It's a never-ending process. There's just not a lot of room. Yeah. I actually had to shrink the map just to get it to fit on the size sheet that it is on, 38 by 50. And it does fold down to 5 by 10, so like a regular road map, it folds up. Full color, two-sided. There's a listing on the back of the map for each state and 8 categories color-coded, so it's a very functional map. And I'm happy to get submissions. Let me know if you guys find something, if you think you have to have this. Why don't you have, XYZ on the map? Let me know what it is. I'll look into it. If it's something that is worthy of putting on the map, I'll add it, and I'll send you a free copy the next time the new edition prints.
Awesome. There you go, people. Yeah, we didn't talk about, like, you have other categories on the map as well. I know you have like Native American stuff and mountains and that as well on there. Yeah,
it's just one of my interests. And when I made the Ohio map initially, like I said in 2007, Ohio is one of the centers of woodland culture and mound building that took place, as well as the upper Mississippi and even the lower Mississippi and Louisiana area and the state of Mississippi now. So we've got the largest effigy mound in the world in Ohio, Serpent Mound, which is shaped like a snake. And it's one of my, just a really special spot to me, just going there and being around that area. It's just, it exudes a really interesting vibe that I've really enjoyed. So, and that happens with a lot of people when they find these different areas. And it makes you ask, why did the Native Americans choose these areas to put their mounds? A lot of them are near water, that's obvious. But, is there something significant about these areas that we don't know about? So on my Ohio map, I placed 88 mounds and earthworks where ancient Americans put these that are still there today. A lot of them have been ruined or plowed over or unfortunately lost because of modern settlement practices. And there are a lot more out there that are on private property. Do not show those. These are ones that you can actually go to. So when I made Map in Black for the national version, I wanted to continue to show that kind of stuff, not because I think it's paranormal, but it's an interest of mine. It's something that's not on a lot of regular maps, and I think it's something that deserves to be on the maps, and I think these are places that deserve to be preserved, and I hope people will learn about them and go visit them and understand more, because we've lost so much already with the knowledge that was there, why they built them, what they were for. Serpent Mound, for example, is an astronomical alignment. The way the serpent is aligned with the summer solstice sunset and the winter solstice sunrise. It's all just amazing knowledge that they use to do that.
Maybe I missed it on the map. Do you also have like petroglyphs and pictographs and stuff?
I do have petroglyphs,
so.
yeah. And that's an ongoing kind of thing of an interest of mine. Again, that things that should be preserved, and I'm always worried. If I put this on the map, will it draw people or create an issue for graffiti or something? So these are places you can already visit that are probably fairly well known. I was surprised though, as I continue to look at those, how many there are out there. And they're out west for sure, and they're preserved better in that arid environment. But Ohio has at least 2 locations that you can go to with petroglyphs, and Leo petroglyphs is one, and Black Hand Gorge is another one. And these kinds of places are across the U.S. that really just surprised me, and maybe other people know about it, or people that are more into that know these are obvious places, but these are locations that I just think are cool that you don't find on most maps.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So personally, I would like to thank you for your hard work on this. I mean, you said 9 years it took you to do it.
9 years, yeah, on and off, just working and plugging away, and then, a month goes by and I didn't work on it, so I'd get kind of refocused, and then I was really getting close to getting done, and then COVID hit, and all my extracurricular activities went away, so I could just, besides my full-time job, which I was able to do from home at the time, allowed me all this extra time to really persevere and get the map done. So the map actually got finished in a way, sort of thanks to COVID.
Well, that's something good that came out of it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, it helped me get it done, and I pushed through, and it came out last summer, I guess. Yeah, it's been out just over a year now.
Awesome. I really appreciate your hard work.
Oh, thank you.
It's an amazing map. Like I said, I got it for what we do with research and stuff. Mm-hmm. It helps, because it's really cool to see, like I said, how everything lines up and everything, all your paranormal cryptid and everything all in one place, so that you can easily say, all right, I'm going to this state.
Right.
It's right there. You can check everything out that's near you.
Yeah, if you're driving somewhere, look at the map, like, oh, this is nearby. I can swing off, for 5 minutes and I'm there, and check it out.
Definitely. All right, man. Anything else you want to talk about? Tell us again where we can find your map and where we can find the Frogman stuff.
Yeah, mapinblack.com is the website to order the map. And on Instagram, go to mapinblack, and just stay tuned for more information about Frogman as it becomes available, and find the Frogman Festival event that I made, which if you go to my Map in Black on Facebook, you'll probably find the event there too.
I sent, for those of you listening, Ethan, he's not here. Ethan. Yeah. Ethan is super big into Frogman, and that's his favorite cryptid and stuff. Way. And cool. I took a picture and sent it to him this morning here, and I found the event on Facebook, and he already liked it and said he was going.
Perfect. Good.
So he's already on top of that. Don't worry. Ethan will be there. So.
Well, you guys are invited to be vendors. If you're interested, please come down, and if you can't join us as a vendor, just come down and check it out.
Definitely. I hope everyone gets out there, and I hope everyone checks out your map.
Appreciate it.
It's definitely worth looking at. Like I said, I actually have 2 copies, one for home and one for the car.
Oh, wow. So. Hey, that's a great idea.
Definitely. I just got to find a place to hang it.
It is. It's a big map.
It is. All right, man. Well, thank you again for being
You're
on
welcome.
the show. I hope everybody goes checks it out. And
appreciate it.
For our listeners, we'll make sure we get you information as soon as we get more stuff out there and share it for you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Whispers from the Dark will be right back after this quick message from our sponsors.
Do you want to do a real paranormal investigation of a well-documented haunted location? Here's your chance. Join our team as we continue the investigations of the Gainer Tavern. Currently Bean Stampers Gentleman Club in Mackville, Wisconsin.
Originally built in 1877, the building was served as a general store, blacksmith shop, tavern, post office, dance hall, and bar. The building was originally built by Michael Gaynor and remained in the family for 5 generations before being sold to Bean Snappers in 1993. Throughout documented history, the building has been hit 4 times and burned twice, with 4 recorded deaths on the property.
Some of the most notable paranormal claims that we have documented are a male disembodied voice, a female disembodied voice, objects moving, doors opening and closing, lights turning on and off, knocking in response to questions, the sound of someone sitting down next to you on furniture, physical interactions including being touched, hair brushed, and scratched, and other unexplained responses to our equipment, which include a REM pod, EMF meter, and an obelisk.
Bring your own equipment, or we have some you can use while you're here. Audio and video recording is encouraged. Here is your chance to investigate the paranormal. For the very first timers to the experienced professionals, we can walk you through, or you can take the lead. The time is yours. Ask your questions and get your answers. Limited space is available for tours, so make sure you purchase your tickets in advance at wisconsincaps.com. Click on the Gaynors Tavern link under public events. Good. All right, you guys can hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Yes, but it's a cheat because we're sitting in front of you.
Awesome. Well, why don't you guys first off introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about Creepy Acres.
Sure. I'm Shawn. I'm the creator of Creepy Acres. Creepy Acres is a web series featuring cryptid puppets, but it's all adult humor, not for kids. And by what we mean by that is it's language, situations, stuff like that, but nothing grotesque. So
Determined by what you think is grotesque or not. I'm Chad. I am the other writer on the show. Shawn makes all the amazing puppets. I help write fart jokes with them and then make really cool voices for them and do substandard puppeteering.
Nice. So what got you started into deciding to make cryptid puppets for a show?
Well, okay. So basically it comes down to I love cryptozoology, but also the cool thing is a lot of them are well-known characters, but no one owns the rights to them. So you can do what you want with them, and people recognize them, and they automatically already love them. So it's like we're already building on that sort of bond people have with these characters. But we try not to make fun of them while we're having fun with them.
Yeah, having fun with the lore. We're not making fun of people that believe in things like that because, I mean, that's just not what we're about. We're just about having fun, but using things that we love. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. So Shawn had been filming for a while, and then he thought I was funny on Facebook. So we hooked up and started writing together. Well, I guess we'd met on a previous project briefly. On Jeff's thing, you had your Yeti puppet. But I digress. So it's been Shawn's baby, and I've been fortunate enough, he's given me an outlet just to be silly, and we click on a lot of levels, and just, we have more fun riffing. Like the drive down here, it's about 4.5 hours, and that's usually the prime time for us to get like road crazy and start going down some weird avenue, and then it's like, I guess we'll be filming this next week.
Some of it we can't film. It's unsuitable.
Some of it stays in the car.
So how long have you guys had the show?
I think we started filming probably at this point about 7 years ago, but we started releasing videos maybe 6 years ago. The pandemic really messed things up because it really set us back. Because we had an ongoing story at that point, but then, because of that, it set us back almost 2 years. But we kept trying to put videos out. We just couldn't work on the main storyline.
Yeah, we legitimately, just to play on, if something's happening that's kind of bad, we'll kind of lean into it. So even with pandemic, we did an episode that was all Zoom calls. Like they were still meeting, but they were doing it over Zoom, and it took so long to do. But it was the only way we could get the entire cast to perform, just pre-record it, and then just... We were spending time together, so we were in the same bubble, so we'd get together and just have to animate everything, obviously by hand, because it's puppets, but everyone would pre-record everything, and then Shawn would just spend hours editing, and luckily we had nothing else to do because, the world was done.
So besides you guys, how many other people do you have that are puppeteers or voices or stuff?
Well, we have Ed. Ed does our YouTube channel. He also takes care of our website. But then just as performers, we have Ben, Jeremy, Alfredo, Lise, and Amy. So that's 5 other people. So there's 8 total. But also, once in a while, we have a guy named Gordon will help us out. He's actually one of the people that got me into puppetry in the first place. He had his own show, Transylvania TV, that predated us, but kind of got me into the mindset for doing this. And he was nice enough to help us out and get things started when we first were just kind of breaking into this.
Yeah, so he kind of gave you the courage to do it yourself, which
absolutely.
is nice. So, yeah, you guys have been in it a couple years. I jumped in it maybe 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's been a marriage of fun and bad jokes ever since.
So do you guys make all your own puppets then, or do you have them like somebody that does that for you?
I make all the puppets except for the jackalope, but otherwise all of them are ones that I made myself.
He's very modest. He's self-taught. He just decided to make puppets one day, and now he has... How many puppets would you say you have?
I think 55.
You have at least a wall,
It's a
2
lot.
walls side by side of puppets.
It's
Not scary at all when you bring someone to your house and go,
yeah.
come into my room. Hello.
Yeah. Check out this mess.
What are you into?
So do you have any other shows, or what do you do with the other puppets then?
Well, most of them are kept for the show, but some of them we just haven't found a home for them yet, or we just haven't gotten to them yet.
You haven't written them into a story.
Yeah.
Like we said with Pandemic, we went from serialized to more of a skit-based, so which kind of helps us introduce some characters, but there's also some we're holding on to because we don't want to introduce them until they've been part of the serial.
Yeah. And some of the characters they predate the show, so they just don't fit the format for what we're doing. Like, I mean, if we got like a sloth, like, you know, or something that I was just testing out, you know, patterns and just making stuff that we just haven't found a place for them at this point.
Yeah, we've got that beautiful Nosferatu puppet,
Yeah, we haven't done.
but
much
we're
with
really
them.
not doing like, you know, mummies, Draculas, and werewolves. You know, we're gonna keep it more cryptids than like universal monsters.
Yeah.
So who are you, like, can you kind of give like a rundown? I mean, like, we can see them here, and I don't know, like, for anybody that's not familiar with your show, like, can you kind of give us a little bit of the main characters and stuff?
Oh, absolutely. Our main character is the Bigfoot. That's Sam. I voice him. I puppeteer him. His actual voice sounds like this. Hey, how you guys doing?
He's
Sam
basically a
Sasquatch.
proxy for. He's basically a proxy for Shawn.
100%. Yeah, he's the guy I wish I could have grown up to be. But then we had Antonio. That's the chupacabra, and the jackalope, and the skunk ape cooter, and then of course
George, the Bishopville lizard man. I don't know who voices him though.
And that's most of the main cast, the main characters. I mean, over time, it's kind of, we have other characters, but those kind of have become the main ones because each of our puppeteers has sort of gravitated towards one character, and then they've really latched onto them.
Really developed them as the characters they are, and giving them their own flavor and personality.
Yeah.
Cool. I see you got this really cool, we're at the Van Meter Festival here, and you got the really cool Van Meter visitor cryptid back there. You said that he hasn't been in anything yet?
No, I just finished him yesterday. Literally, I stuck the horn in his hand last night and lighted him up.
Yeah, he's been sprinting for about 3 to 4 weeks to get that thing done just in time for today.
That's
So
cool. It is really cool.
It was the big unveiling. We're setting up the stand, and he's like, we're bringing that in last. So I've just been calling him the closer all day. Bring in the closer.
That's cool. He's really neat. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
So tell us a little bit about like what is your show like about? What was the storyline going before,
Oh, sure. Well, so the storyline originally started out that there was a new TV show comes on TV that's a paranormal investigative show where they're trying to hunt down cryptids, and because of this, the show ends up offering a ridiculous reward of, I think it's $400 million, and because of that, people go nuts and they're like searching everywhere. So it's kind of driving all these cryptids out into the open, and they're all like running, for shelter basically. And as that's happening, they're all running into each other for the first time as they're all kind of like sneaking around, and so you end up with the Bigfoot is driven out of his home. He ends up running into the chupacabra, and then ends up in a shack where there's also a dog man hiding and a lizard man hiding. Then they're already in there, and so it's basically that. It's that sort of thing where they're like meeting for the first time and how would they interact. But they're also, you're dealing with characters who normally would be loners, and so they're all kind of terrible.
They're all kind of jerks,
Yeah.
But they're also heading towards the
they're
actual
also-
Creepy Acres.
Yeah, and there's a place called Creepy Acres that one of them has a map for, or a brochure for, that is this supposed safe place that they can get to, and they'll be safe. But they, at this point, don't even know if it's a real place. They just know they got this brochure and they got to go find this place, but no one seems to really know where it is.
And of course, along the way, they're going to meet more and more cryptids and interact, and probably run afoul of them or dick them over in some way.
They're making enemies as they go.
Yeah, they're not great, but that's kind of the fun. They're just inept, no social skills, and just kind of selfish.
Well, that was two of my questions. Was what is actually Creepy Acres, and that's
Okay.
you said that was a brochure, right? That
Yep.
they're trying to get there, and then so as they're going along, they obviously meet some not so nice cryptids that they don't get along with. So who are those guys?
Well, still coming. Still, I mean, so
We're going to get into the meal. Well, they bumped into the jackalope already and basically tricked him into robbing a convenience store.
I think I saw that video playing over there.
Yeah. A lot of yelling in that one.
And
That's kind of the one that gives it the not for children vibe.
There was the jackalope rap or something was there too as well.
Yeah.
I can't hear it obviously. I can just watch the video.
Yeah,
but,
we're not real. We kind of made a promise not to have the sound on if we're going to have the not appropriate for kids tag on things. So
Very nice.
that's what the YouTubes are for.
Yeah.
and the very end of the very last episode we did, they just met. They were just about to meet the goat man. Like it was right there, but we haven't been able to finish that because of the pandemic. We haven't been able to get together.
But of course, he's more of a malicious cryptid. As somebody who tries to lure people up onto the tracks, it's going to be more of a. We should go up there. It's like, no, don't go up there. He'll kill us. It's like, but what he's saying is really cool.
He thinks we're cool.
That's that's probably not going to be a friendship episode.
Do you have like what do you call it, like morals or like lessons to learn from these episodes, or is it just
God,
fun?
No, absolutely
yeah, okay.
none.
I mean, not for the sake of being horrid, but I mean, obviously they are trying to survive, and they just don't really. They're all loner characters who probably haven't been forced into a situation where they have to care about other people. They probably like the main two characters would be Sam and Antonio, the Chupacabra, kind of end up walking together, who are friends, in as much as people that are selfish but are kind of opening up to other people can be friends. Like they're still like, I think if it was an actual threat, they would probably throw one or the other at the other one so they could escape.
Oh, 100%.
But they'd feel really bad about it.
Yeah.
They'd probably send their family a card going, "He was a good dude. I am sorry about this."
I have no idea what happened to him.
So like,
He sacrificed
maybe
himself for me.
maybe morals are growing,
Yeah.
but they haven't developed that far yet. And of course, like I said, pandemic. We've had 2 years to not do that yet.
Oh yeah, like I was telling you, I've heard of Creepy Acres. I've seen it like on Facebook. I see you guys like all over with the puppets and stuff like that, and I just haven't had a chance. I don't have time to sit in front of a computer, to be honest.
Yeah,
understandable.
So I haven't seen it, but
Neither do we, to
I
be
like
honest.
it. I mean, like you guys are all over the place. Like at other festivals and stuff like that. I know you guys were here last year.
Yep.
I saw some pictures. Where else do you guys go?
Well, next weekend we're going to be at the Wendigo Fest in Manitowoc, Wisconsin.
Okay.
I've been out to the Oregon Bigfoot Festival 2 years.
We went to Horror Hound in Indianapolis years
Yep.
ago.
I did
That was a fun one.
CryptidCon in Kentucky. It's been. I mean, we've kind of been all over the
And
place.
there's the Para Connection.
Para Connection is coming up
3 weeks.
in 3 weeks in Minnesota. It's in Faribault,
In
Minnesota.
Yeah. Then hopefully after that we can double down and actually get after the Goatman episode we've been planning for years.
Yeah.
Reread the script after 2 years and go, I got to rewrite this now.
So tell everybody, where can we find it? I know you're on YouTube. Where else? I know you got a whole bunch of like links and stuff up there. Where else can we find you guys?
Well, you can find us on creepyacres.com. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and just search for Creepy Acres, and we'll be found on any of those sites.
There was an idea at one point during pandemic I was going to take George and give him an OnlyFans page and just be like, if you pay money, you can see what's down below. And it was just going to be a picture of my arm on like a silk pillow.
Very nice.
Drink it
There
in.
would be people that would buy that.
Somebody would have, and I
Yeah.
really wanted to roll the dice on that, but just never got around to it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, have you guys ever seen any cryptids? I mean, like, what actually got you into it?
Well, cryptozoology. I mean, what got me into it when I was a kid, I read a book called The Abominable Snowman by Barbara. I can't remember her last name. Andopoulos. It was like a kid. It was just a kid's book on the Yeti, and I thought that was awesome. And then, of course, I ended up watching In Search of, because I'm that age, like the original In Search of, and the Bionic Man with Bigfoot. But that got me really into it originally. But as for actually having seen I've never actually seen a cryptid. But I also don't investigate. I do research, but I don't investigate.
Yeah, I kind of I didn't come into it back doors. Like, obviously, I wasn't a research kid, but just always been a monster guy. Loved dinosaurs growing up, and then the idea that there could possibly be a dinosaur in Loch Ness when I was a kid was the most amazing, scary thing of all. I just prefer monster movies, horror movies, to anything else. And the fact that there are just these legends all over the world, I still contend that for the amount of people that don't have an idea for a horror movie, there are so many that are already written. They're literally just legends. Just film it. Even here in Van Meter, just film it. Done. Mm-hmm. Just a monster fan. I prefer monster movies to everything. I'm pretty easy, especially Universal monsters, but legend stuff, all of it. I'm kind of learning everything by osmosis being around him.
So what's your favorite cryptid?
It's always going to be Bigfoot, 100%.
I'm always going to be Loch Ness, man. It just is. I've been trying to branch out into other ones. Like I kind of like the idea of the awful, which is the one that inspired H.P. Lovecraft, which is unfortunate because he's a terrible person. I'm starting to like Wendigos a lot more too, but yeah, I'm just old-fashioned. I just like a good old-fashioned sea monster. So Loch Ness being the most, biggest example of that. So, or like Pensacola Serpent, that's a fun one.
That's a horrifying story.
Film it.
Yeah, that needs to be a movie like yesterday. It's horrifying. It's a horrifying story.
Film it.
Awesome. So, besides your Goat Man coming up, what else you guys got coming up for Creepy Acres?
Cryptid-wise, we do have plans for, a Wendigo will be coming up at some point.
Yeah, not to be secretive, but obviously we're trying to surprise a lot of things. Like, we have weird ideas for things like there's what's the living pants?
Fresno Crawler?
Fresno Night, yeah.
I knew that. I totally blanked on it. But
Yep.
thought about just weird ways to film stuff, like putting little cowboy boots on just like your index and middle finger, just literally just having an arm walk across the screen and be like, oh, what's that? Green screen it. Just trying to think of weird stuff like that to do. So we have a list, but we're trying to be not secretive, but obviously you want it to be a surprise when people see it. You don't want to expect it. Really catch people off guard.
We'll be branching out here, because at this point we're just making any characters we can. So obviously at some point, we're hoping to do Loveland Frog, we're hoping to do the Enfield Horror, but whether, we're going to just do anything we can, and then whatever, when they pop in, they pop in. I mean, but it's at this point, we're just going to keep making them.
We got to get to we just got to basically, the story's got to get rolling first so we can get to introducing those characters, basically. So, because we don't really want to introduce them in a skit and then put them in the story. We'd rather do it the other way around. Once they've been in the main narrative, then they're fair game for the more skit-based stuff. So I guess we have morals. I don't know if our characters do, but we have a weird code of conduct.
That's good to have. Good to have. All right, guys. Anything else you want to add? Promote? Shoot? Anything?
Never shake a baby.
Okay. Good advice.
Not hard. Not hard.
Not hard. Only if they're really rude, but not hard.
Yeah. Other than
a warning shake. Don't be a monster. Follow that.
So that said, next week we'll be at the
Next week we'll be at the Children's Ward at St. Francis.
And the week after that we'll be in prison. So come see us there. And
so limited engagement. Get your tickets now.
We'll let you know when the court dates are. Okay.
We're also bad at giving serious answers in case you haven't picked up on that.
That's fine.
So we just have 2 live shows yet this year, and that's the Wendigo Fest in Manitowoc, and then the Paraconnection in Faribault. But other than that, we don't have anything.
Yeah, those are selfishly closer to home. So,
where are you guys actually from, if you don't mind?
Minneapolis.
Based in Minneapolis. Yeah. We're both of us kind of live on the north side in like Roseville, but it's just easier to say Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Plus, we can't be tracked that way.
Yeah.
Did I say Roseville? I meant California.
Roseville, California.
All right, guys, one more time, where can we find you all?
At creepyacres.com. We're also available to find on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and just search for Creepy Acres on those sites, and you'll find us.
Yeah, that about covers it.
Awesome, guys. Thank you very much for coming over. Hope
Hey,
guys have
thank
a
you
great
so
day.
much, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Whispers from the Dark. To find out more about cryptids, anomalies, and the Paranormal Society, visit us at our website at wisconsincaps.com. That's Wisconsin, CAPS.com. There you can find links to all of our social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and our Patreon. You will see links to our online store as well, where you can get t-shirts, DVDs, and more. If you click on the public events page, you can find out where you can meet us in person and all the public events we have coming up. If you enjoy our podcast or our YouTube shows, please consider becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/Wisconsin Caps. There you can find behind-the-scenes pictures and videos from all of our media, as well as bonus footage and evidence that we have collected. If you have encountered something you can't explain, we want to hear from you. Visit our website and click on Submit a Report on our main screen. You can choose to leave your contact information or simply remain anonymous. You can also reach us via email at wisconsincaps@gmail.com. If you would like to be a guest on our show, please contact us on our Whispers from the Dark podcast page on Facebook, or send us an email at wisconsincaps.com. Remember to like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen or watch or find us.